Wait for some of y'all to join up. What up? What up? All right, let's get it. You're. What's up, Sono? I ain't got my glasses on. Davey, you. So I'm gonna be squinting. Don't be me coming at me. Jugga Lunatic, what's good? Dwayne Brown, what's good? Jake the Great, 1804. You're. How you? Skeptical fan. Without Liel for 5 weeks. That actually solves a question that I had, which is I think what you do when Zach Martin get back, we're gonna talk about that though. But I think now you kick Zach Martin out to the tackle, leave Connor McGovern in at the guard because he deserves to play. So I'm not really worried about Leo being out for the 5 weeks, to be honest with you. As long as we shuffle the line correctly, I think we got guys that's capable. So let's get it. Akoye, listen to Cardi. What you talking about? Playboy Cardi? No, I listen to Kanye though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who Cardi is. I guess that's who's on that song. But I listen to Ye though. Nah, I don't really listen to music much at all. What up though? Hawk and VA. Loving Aries. Hey, you're Davey 84 was good. Xavier Pickens was good. And I mean, shout out to everybody, man. Y'all jumping in here. So let's get it. Man, listen, before we really even get into it, before I start getting into like players and so on, man, I like to say everybody who's talking, we don't stand a chance. And I'm not talking about people who are Tampa Bay fans or, Eagles fans. They supposed to say that. I'm talking about those on the Cowboys wagon. There's two things that go with that. Like, number one, I'm glad we did it early so that if you're going to get on, you got a reason to get on now and don't jump off. And number two, if you walked into this game thinking that, because we didn't do well last year, we was automatically going to be bums this year. Dak was going to be bummy, so on. I think it proved a lot to you, hopefully, because we need a unified front to really win anything, man. But hopefully that brings some of the fringe Cowboy fans back into the fold because yesterday, if you can't find electric in what we saw yesterday, then I don't know what's going to get it there for you, man. That was a game that shows you what you're capable of, and if you want to get a understanding for like a reference point anyway, think the Giants when the Giants, I think they was 8-8, they was trash too, but they won the Super Bowl that year though. But they played New England. I think they played them twice that year. They played them near the end of the season and they lost. But they knew because of the way they played them that they were able to hang with anybody. So if you look at this game and look at the Super Bowl, and I said this yesterday, if you look at what Mahomes was able to do or not able to do against this very same defense, period, and what we were able to accomplish yesterday, and while doing it in a very unbalanced way, like for one, I know a lot of you don't have a problem with the way Kellen Moore called the game. I don't have a problem with Kellen Moore's play design. I have a problem with his situational play calling. I didn't like the stagger. I don't want Dak throwing 58 times a game. That's just me personally. And I think we still can put up points without doing that. But regardless of that fact, he still was able to coach a game where had it not come to field goals, a interception that went off the hands of CD, this game was an easily won and easily non-contested game. So for me, I saw everything I need to see, even out of Kellen, with the things that I don't like about his play calling. It doesn't matter. Kellen is an ace when it comes to play design, and this team is stacked top down with talent. So those of y'all that wasn't on the bandwagon, come on over, man. Come on over. It's on. It's time to like dead all that, man. I'm even tired of going. I do more arguing with y'all than I do with fans of the Giants fans. So on. I never understood this. It's a crazy dynamic. I said this to shout out to DK David Jenkins too. One of the viewers on here, man, DJ Touch Tone. But I was talking to him last night, man. I was just saying, man, it's crazy because until I went to Dallas for the draft, I never knew what being a fan really felt like. And I really mean that. Because being a fan in Philly, I'm by myself. Like there's nobody to really, I argue with nothing but Philly fans. So I'm always by myself on the real. So going to Dallas for the draft, I realized people actually love the Cowboys, man. And I say all that to say, I do more debating and arguing though about the Cowboys with Cowboy fans than I do Giants fans, Eagles fans. So Eagles fans watch me and they agree with me, or they agree with what we do and what the Cowboys are. And it's a lot less sporadic. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. It's 51 of y'all in there. Make sure it's up so that way these people jump on, man. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, it's beautiful to get a unified energy for a change. I think the consensus is out that everybody feels like we have a a team that can actually do something this year, which is true in my opinion from what I saw last night. But let's get right into it. So I'm gonna start with. I always like to start with the bad news. 'Cause I like to end with the good. But bad news, man. Anthony Brown. I know I spoke. I said I understood the move. I did. I understood like okay, the way he played in the Texas game, he played okay. You know, he was hitting. Looked aggressive. Looked like he had a chip on his shoulder. Did say that. Um, but I also said that I felt like he should have been moved to the slot or rotate with Jordan Lewis in the slot. And I still thought that last night. The one knock I have on the coaching staff, number one, first and foremost, is Canada didn't see the field, and I feel like Canada could have been a difference maker even more so than the turnovers that we had. I think we could have gotten a calmer, more reined in game yesterday had we have played with Canada over Anthony Brown. Now that's just me coming at the coaching staff. That's soft because the coaching staff, I ain't mad at y'all, but you should have pulled Brown. But Brown himself, oh man, he deserved all the smoke in the world at this point, man. Um, it was just, I mean, whether you say he's serviceable or not doesn't matter. They clearly, visibly were targeting him in the first half or regardless. I mean, he played better in the second half. I will give him that. But they targeted him something crazy throughout the game. And it was just nasty, man. And I feel like this is just my thing. Am I surprised that he got ate up by the other AB? No. But if you're going to have a guy out there that's just totally getting trashed by a receiver, you may as well put your rookie out there, or you may as well put Canada out there and just see what he can do. Regardless, it's not like he had something to lose in that aspect. So moving forward, I'd like to see less AB on the field. Period. I still don't say cut him, but bury his ass on the bench for quite some time. I don't mind him as a handcuff in the slot if J. Lou gets hurt, something like that. But I don't want to see him on the field. If Nation starts to emerge and when Boss Man Fast is healed in about 3 to 5 weeks, you want to say cut him then, go ahead. I don't want to cut him just yet because we might need him. But I mean, there's probably guys on the free agent market right now that can give us what he just gave us last night. So it's not much room for AB on this team if you can see the glaring weaknesses there. Like teams clearly can pick on him at will, and you're a starting corner in the league, man. You know, you got the law of averages on your side. That's what most corners want. Usually when you have a strong corner staggered with one that's not as good in coverage, that corner gets opportunities not only for interceptions, but he's going to get more targets. If you look at a guy like when we had Terrence Newman, Anthony Henry was a beast when it comes to those big receivers. But Anthony Henry's rookie year, he had 10 interceptions that rookie year. Not because he's like a shutdown corner. At 10 interceptions because law of averages. He was a rookie and they picked on him, but he was a ball hawk at the same time. So he took advantage of those opportunities. And what I mean with that is if Anthony Brown was giving up plays, but because they threw 10, 15 balls at him, he got himself an interception or two out of that. People aren't so mad at him then. He doesn't do any of that. He doesn't get any deflections, nothing. But he gets all opportunities to do that. And I think if you throw 10 balls at Jordan Lewis or any of these corners, it's proven in preseason. If you throw balls at any of these corners consistently, they're going to pick something off, except for Anthony Brown. They coming at it, though. Jordan Lewis made some plays on the ball yesterday that looked like the Jordan Lewis of old that I like. He made a lot of blunders and coverages just on plays where, and you'll see when you look at the coach's film if we get it. But I saw it in the broadcast that I broke down last night. But he just wasn't getting targeted on those particular plays, and that's because it was so sweet over there where Anthony was at. So you don't have to target Jordan, but Jordan need to work on it too because he got away with a lot. I saw him fall on a couple of routes regarding Goodwin. It just didn't go at him. So it's not just Anthony. The secondary needs a little overhaul at this point. But Anthony Brown is definitely a glaring weakness right now, and I don't want that to become a factor that changes games moving forward, because that bomb that he gave up, that's a 7-point swing. We just came off of a momentum back-breaking drive right after that, and a turnover. Right after that, boom, bombs away. And then after that, we had that in the third quarter, I believe we had that interception off of CeeDee Lamb's hands. But without those two plays, this is a lopsided victory. And I don't mean it's not even close. It's a lopsided victory for the Cowboys. I'm talking about 17. And if you add the field goals, two field goals, the 60-yard, I don't count against them as much, but two field goals and an extra point, that's another 7 points on top of that. So you're talking about 17 to 21 points we could have beaten the Patriots by. And that's not like coulda, woulda, shoulda, wishful thinking. Those were things that were within our control that we let get away from us. So moving forward, I don't think we'll do that. Number two, we're not going to be playing Tom Brady and the Patriots. I mean, not the Patriots, the Tampa Bay Bucs every week. But it is a good litmus test, and I'm in a somber, calm, happy mood about that. So that's cool. They're talking about Collins being out. Like I said, we're gonna get to that in a second. I'm not sure what the suspension is about. I didn't look. I do know he's suspended, but do you see me excited? I'm not. And that's because Zach Martin did get some spot work last year. We're just going to talk about it now. But he got some spot work last year at tackle when we were banged up. And now, because of suspension, that's good. Collins gets the rest up for another 5 weeks. We'll get him back later in the season. That's cool. Zach Martin definitely has shown that, he's apt and ready to do it outside. If you want to try Connor Williams out there and then move McGovern to where Williams is, it's fine. Either or, I think you'll see the rotation of those three guys in some variant. I don't think we'll just throw a steal out there. I think you'll put Zach Martin over there and McGovern, leave him at right guard. He had a great game. So if he's at right guard and Zach Martin's at tackle, and even Connor Williams, if you say Connor Williams had a bad game, he didn't. He had a great, even that block, I wasn't mad at it. Number one, protect Dak at all costs, even if you got to tackle a motherfucker. I'm fine with that. Do it. Cut him. Chop block him. I don't give a damn. Just don't let him get hit. Especially when they was flying at his legs all day yesterday. It was coming for him and coming low all day. They weren't touching him, but they was coming at him, and he was still standing in there with poise, the poise that I've been looking for all these years. He stood in there, and even more so than last year. Last year, he still was a little jittery. He'll get out there and run. But yesterday, he stood in there like it wasn't there, man. And I loved it. So Connor Williams played a great game, but if you compare it to McGovern, I think McGovern still had a better game, and Connor Williams played good to me. I saw McGovern, pancake Vita Vea on a run play that if you want to look at it, go on the highlights and look at the 3rd and 1 where Zeke was running from the fullback position in the first quarter, and watch number 66 and Vita Vea. Number one, Vita Vea's big ass is 5 yards back. Oh, the pile is here. Vita Vea is upfield. Number one. So he pushed him upfield about 4 yards and then bent him over backwards. And that was the block of the game for McGovern, in my opinion. But he played a solid game. So that rotation of three, I don't think you put McGovern on the bench and try to figure out who can play right tackle. I think you put Zach Martin at right tackle because you can trust him. And even if he gives up a few because he's not used to it, he has the cerebral skills and the know-how to be the AKOYE to be able to adjust to that situation. So I think you leave McGovern where he's at and you sandwich him between, Biadasz, who also had a good game. Other than that one time, Vita Vea took him all the way back in the backfield, but he had a good game. But yeah, I think that's the rotation at the line. So I haven't mentioned any excitement or any ill towards Liel because I don't care. I feel like we can survive that. Really. Okay, let me read up, say hi to some people, man. Pay the bills, so to speak, and then I'll jump back on. Special K, he said, Okoye, I know Jalen didn't play a lot, but I'm tripping. Am I tripping to saying he played better than Parsons in this game? Y'all keep putting that on me because I'm gonna say it, and that's what it is. But I'm gonna speak the truth, and the truth is, Parsons he lets his instincts get him out of position a lot, and he did yesterday. I don't think he'll continue to do that. So I think if you're looking at it like where will Parsons end up? Will he end up being far better and playing far better consistently than Jalen? Yeah, he will. Did he yesterday though? Hell no, he didn't. He really didn't. If you look at most of the drives, if you look at the drive where KZ forced that fumble on the goal line, Parsons took a horrible angle. That was a touchdown had KZ not been right there. Parsons wasn't expecting a Goodwin to break that tackle, so he came in, and had that been Jalen taking that same angle, they would have gave him hell. They were like, look at Jalen. Jalen almost got scored on. You know what I'm saying? But when Parsons does it, we kind of look the other way. That interception on the sideline against Fournette, I think he makes that in the future. But he was excited. He glided away from the ball, and Fournette was able to jump ball it and get him out of there. He still made a solid tackle off of it, but he made a play on the ball, but just didn't make the play on the ball. So yeah, I think he did a couple of things. And then those play actions, he bit very hard on play actions. He was giving it up across the middle. Even that Goodwin touchdown that we came at, I blame Jalen and Parsons on that play though. But that Goodwin touchdown against J. Lou inside when he caught him on that quick little skinny post. J. Lou thought he had help inside, and he did. It was Parsons. Parsons floated because of play action. He floated off to the left a little bit, or his left, quarterback's right, and that gave a window. And Jalen was conversion. I think he was playing man on Fournette, but he came down to do it. But when Brady threw the ball, he threw it right over. He threw it over Jalen and around Parsons on that slant, on that post, because they both bit on the run hard. But it's goal line. I think you get more bites. It's a lot easier to play action people on the goal line when you're on the goal line, because you gotta read and react very fast as a linebacker in those situations. But you are correct, Special K. I do believe, but also Parsons had a lot more playing time too, so he had a lot more room for error. But the same plays that you'd see traditionally Jalen miss on, like the seam route where Gronk's coming up the seam on a deep post or a crossing route. I don't know which one he was. I don't know what he was really running. He might have just been looking for a spot in his zone. I don't know, and just kept streaking. But he basically had Parsons on his hip. KZ came in and tried to rip the ball out at the last minute. They didn't really replay that many times, but it was a lot of similar things going on with when it comes to sort of mishaps. But I expected that from a young linebacker. So did Jalen play a good game yesterday? Good enough. It was average. Did Parsons, could I say that Jalen played better than Parsons in his spot work? He did, but he didn't get as much work as Parsons either. And I think that overall Parsons' abilities will outshine his tendencies at this point. But his game is fast, and it's the first time he's played in a year. And that was college the last time he played, so I expected some of that. So I'm not worried about it. But you're right. Let's keep it going. But that was like actually my next point, Micah Parsons' first game, and how did I think of him? And I think he's very aggressive, and that can play against him. But he had a good game, good enough game. Run the damn ball, man. That's my next point. I already talked about a couple of things that could have changed this game, and that's what I'm focused on. The last thing that I saw, and when I was watching it live, it seemed a lot more reasonable to not run, because I'm just looking at the yards per carry. When I went back and watched, though, because someone told me, he's like, Zeke had 3 carries in the first series for like 10 yards, and that doesn't sound very good. But when you looked at the drive itself, that sputtered out because CD Lamb, I believe, dropped 2 passes right at the end of it. That same drive, Zeke had a run for 5 yards, which was a good run, strong run. Then he had a run from the fullback position for 1 yard for a first down. And then right after the first down, he got another run for about another 4 yards. So that's where the 10 yards on 3 carries came from. But each run was very effective. The 1 yard run wasn't because he got stuffed. It was a short yardage play where they were coming up against the goal line front, and he still got it after being hit by 3 people. So I think the run, am I a guy that just says feed Zeke because I like Zeke better than Dak or something like that? Nah, it's not about that. I feel like you need to spare Dak, number one. Number two, you need to hurt the opposition. Like I said, on that same 1 yard run, Vita Vea got bent over backwards. You see those guys flying backwards. Zeke's, even that one where he got stuffed by Levante David. Levante David was shook up after that play, but nobody pays attention to that. He stuffed him, but he paid for it when he did it. And it's a difference between gas and then physical attrition. So we were gassing Dean, number 35. So the corners all got gas. They were running all day. That's a good thing, right? But it's a difference. You might those corners might carry that gas, but the defensive line isn't. They're fine. They're fresh because they've been firing off at your offensive line. But if you play football, if you make a tackle, it might look great if I run across the middle and make a tackle, or if I come up into the pile and make a good hit. But I feel it. I feel it in the huddle. I feel it the next play, and I feel it more importantly. I'm thinking about it the next time I got to do it again and again. Do that 4 or 5 times in the game, and then be asked to do it in the fourth quarter where you still feel that pain from it. You start making executive decisions. And I want some of that. We could do ourselves some favors if we start to run on earlier downs. I don't think Kellen Moore just doesn't like the run, though. I think he's not running because he likes to pass so much that he passes on first down to try to trick the opposition. And when he passes on first down, if it works, great. But when it doesn't work, now you're forced to pass on second down, or it's more likely that you will. And then third downs become, hey, if you're 3rd and 4, I'll take a play action on 3rd and 4 before I take a run any day, most days, right? There may be a draw play here and there, but when you get into those 3rd and long situations, you're not running then either, right? So if we don't run on first down, we're probably not running in that series, and that's where those 3 and outs are coming from. Like we throw on first down a little bit too much, and that's just my humble opinion. Like I said, I like what Kellen does when it comes to play design, but situational play calling, I think we could afford to run a lot more. And we were effective even with the short passes. Like we were doing like fake end around passes and swing passes to Pollard, which served as run plays too. So you got to take those into consideration too. He was counting that West Coast play style, like where he threw the ball to CD to Gallup on a hitch route. That's a run. That's a run. When he throws it to Pollard on the wing, those are runs. Like those are really just long tosses because you're just throwing a hitch route or throwing a little swing pass out to the flat and letting him do his thing, just getting him out on the edge. But we could also run on those edges too, some option routes, some sweeps, so on. And I think mixing that into what you're doing, some more power football, because you have maulers on the offensive line who could use that confidence and that momentum that comes with smacking somebody and knocking somebody back. Like, especially when you're dealing with guys like Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea, you want to hit those guys. You don't want to keep getting hit by those guys, man. So that's my only critique for Kellen Moore. I think everything else was solid, man. 100%. CeeDee Lamb. Now, I give it just as good as I take it, and I'm fair. I'm fair, man. If we came at Gallup for drops in his first year, his rookie year. I came at him because I said, hey, he's here to replace Dez. If you railroad one guy for drops and then you bring in another guy who's dropping the ball, you got to keep that same energy. That's just my opinion. Don't be mad at the one and say, is attaboy, he'll get it for the other. You can't do that, especially when the one has already put up stats for you and done shit and bled for this. You know what I'm saying? So same thing goes for CeeDee Lamb. I think it was a big game. It was a lot of jitters, but CeeDee dropped 3 passes that you got to catch, Playboy. He got to catch those. That one across the middle cost us. That first drive cost us as well, because we could have gone into the game. Maybe even the run game would have been different had that drive not sputtered out due to those 2 drops in a row. Because if we're up in that drive, see, they went back down and scored right after that, and we got the ball. They got the ball first, I believe. They got the ball first. Yeah, we stopped them on defense. So once we did that, if we go down and score, it puts the pressure on their offense to come out and play a little bit more aggressive, just like it did when they threw that bomb on Anthony Brown after we got the turnover. We would have gotten that type of intensity or urgency. We would have gotten it a little bit earlier had we gone out and scored on that drive. So that was one thing that affected the game, in my opinion. It happens, but those were easy drops. That one across the middle. The reason I'm mad for Dak for that one is because if you look at that play, Dak had nowhere to throw that ball. Like, that ball had to go over a linebacker and between a safety, and he put it right on the money. And I didn't think it was a good pass at all. I was like, damn, that's a hard, but he hit him right on the hands. He alligator armed it because he knows he's going across the middle. I understand that, but that's what you get paid for, pimp. That's what we bought him in here for, because that's what he was doing in college, running through 4 or 5 DBs to get to the end zone. So you can't be alligator arm and nose, man. He said it himself though, so I give him that, the accountability on the sideline. You can read his lips and see that he said, "I should have caught that ball," and you damn right. So CeeDee Lamb, you know, you brought it back. He did what he had to do. He had a good game after the fact, but those lapses in focus cost us big time. We win the game very easily if that interception doesn't come off his hands. And all the credit due to Carlton Davis too. I don't want to take nothing away from him, even though he wasn't covering CD on that play. He was playing quarters zone or third zone on the other side of the field, but just kind of bent inside and was just there for the pop up. But when they did go after him, though, he didn't give up shit. Dean, they was killing the other kid, number 43, forget his name, but Cockrell, I think his name is. But we was tearing them up. But Carlton Davis held up strong. I don't even know who he is. I didn't know who he was last year, but I'll be watching this film though. I like him. He played solid. That's hard to do, and we tested him. But guess what? One thing I am a little perturbed about, and the reason I came at CD is because he's gonna get a lot more opportunities now that MG is down. But when you look at these tough games, whether you're looking at the Rams game last year where we playing Jalen Ramsey, anytime we're playing a guy like a Gilmore or Ramsey or Davis, those guys that are shut down corners who play physical and ain't giving it up, the one guy that don't play no games with none of those dudes is MG every time. So if you look at Carlton Davis early in the game, Michael Gallup was whooping his ass. He was whooping his ass. It wasn't until Michael Gallup went out that he started to, or when he stopped guarding Michael Gallup, pretty much is when he started to shine. When he was guarding Michael Gallup, Michael Gallup was whooping that ass early and often. He actually broke a slant where if Davis doesn't rip for that ball and force Gallup to spin, Gallup has a touchdown off of a slant route. And he knew it. He got up pissed off because he knew that. But again, I'm mad that Gallup's hurt, but we got the talent to even replace them. We're deep, man. Like I said, you got Cedric Wilson, who every time he's on the field, he does nothing but make plays. So I believe he'll probably be relegated to the slot, and then CD will take those snaps from Gallup if we ever come out in two wide receiver formations, which we very rarely do. Then it'll be probably CD in Gallup's position and Cedric taking CD's role, or Cedric taking Gallup. Either or, it doesn't really matter. Really, with the way you use these receivers, there's no true wide receiver one because Dak will go after whoever the weakest link is. So whoever lines up on the weak link is going to get the ball most times when it comes to Dak. He said, "Nah, AKOYE." I don't even know what you talk about, but Davey disagreeing with me already. Oh no, I saw the Jair Alexander joint too, but I'm talking about even in that game though. If you look at that game, since you want to go back to the Green Bay game, go back to the game. We were losing. Who was the first to score and say fuck that? That was Gallup. Mari Cooper did kill Alexander in that game, but Gallup was the one giving us the energy and the spark in that game. Every time he plays against a top corner, he rumbles. Even that game in the Rams game, like he pushed off. They said he pushed off against Jalen Ramsey early in that game. He got Ramsey on a comeback route, killed him, and then he used that to beat him in the end of the game. And I think he won the game there too. So when Gallup's asked to step up, he does, man. You said we lost because of the kicker. That's a big part of it. He shored up near the end of the game. They said he had back surgery in the offseason, so maybe that's what was wrong with him. But he shored up in the end of the game. I will give him that. But we need to bring in other kickers to kind of push him or see if we need to get rid of him. If I see it again this week, I think they're going to cut him, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Like you're going to miss kicks in this league, period. No matter who you got in there, nobody's 50 for 50 in the end of the season. But what you don't want is games like that where they're tightly contested. You don't want your guys missing in those situations. So did it happen? Yeah. Kickers got one goddamn job to do. I don't understand how you don't do that well, but yeah, man. I was pissed off by that too. So I can't really take him off the hook. Connor Williams, I talked about a little bit, talked about how he played, talked about the run. Dan Quinn's scheme. Let's talk about the overall defensive scheme. The Hail Mary interception, I don't really give you. I'm not giving you that. I like the fact that J. Lou ran it out. I feel like if I think it was Canada, if Canada blocked 74, J. Lou scores on that play. Canada thought 74 couldn't catch him, so he let him go. Should have just peeled back and just pushed him because J. Lou would have scored on that play otherwise. If he'd have scored, I'd have gave him credit for the interception because he got us some points out of it. But the pop up, I don't. Everything else, that hit by KZ himself, period. I gave KZ some hell because I was unsure about the Achilles injury. Looks great. He's fast. I don't even know who he is half the time. You know, like when he makes a hit, I'm like, who did that? And I gotta wait for him to get up to see who did it because he's flashing. That means you're flashing in there. Only other we had some safeties that do it. Wilcox, Church, Roy Williams, Woodson, they've done that. Ken Hamlin used to do that too, like where you just see a blur on the screen and they coming in laying wood. But Casey's a little dude, man. He play a lot like Earl Thomas. So those of y'all who wanted that Earl Thomas look in this defense, you got it, because that's how he is. Like he over the top and he's saving dudes, man, saving dudes left and right. There was a play where I think it was third down and got him off the field. He knocked the ball out of AB's hands. AB was wide open. He cracked him. Boom. Knocked the ball out of his hands. Third down, fourth down, forced the fourth down. He forced a fumble. There was a play where, like I said, Gronk beats Parsons up the seam, and Casey just dives out of nowhere. And even when he dove, he has one hand over his back, and you could see him immediately rip for that ball. A lesser tight end or a lesser receiver drops that ball. It's just that Gronk was focused, you know. But anybody else drops that ball. KZ was laying some wood last night, man. So my hat goes off to him. He making it very hard for you to say, let's put Hooker up in there. I can't say that. I like Hooker too, but you know, I don't think he's gonna come in and play much better than KZ gave me. And if he could, then you know, you might as well give us a Super Bowl right now if he can. Because KZ played pretty damn good. I liked what I saw out of KZ. But overall, I like what I saw out of Quinn, period. I feel like Quinn was mixing it up a lot, but right now you might see a lot more formations just so we get an understanding for what we're good at and what's pressed, like what we can do well. Hold on one second. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I got a dinner to go to. But anyway, I feel like in closing, like Quinn overall definitely showed me a lot of looks, and I was looking at a lot of the formations. Um I like when they use Parsons on the outside every once in the blue. But personally, and it's just me, I think when they have Parsons and Jalen in at the same time, I would rather Jalen out there because I don't want Jalen in the middle of the field. I would rather have Parsons in the middle of the field because I feel like his athleticism is better than Jalen. So I would rather have Jalen there and Parsons in the middle. But again, they're trying to figure out what's working right now, and I'm all for it. I think Dorrance Armstrong is starting to flash and starting to earn his playing time finally. Um, and I feel like the way he moves his guys around and his personnel around is good, other than this deep linebacker rotation. I ain't really feeling it fully, but it could work. I will say you got different guys that have different strengths. So in different situations, you should use different linebackers depending on what we're doing. But I'm not for the series of, okay, this entire series I'm taking Parsons off the field. I don't like that. I feel like in this package, you might go package for package. Like, okay, we got two plays where in these packages we want to use Jalen here or vice versa. But again, last night, I think Chris Collinsworth actually called it. It does make us a little predictable because you know what they want to do based on the personnel that they're bringing out there. They were bringing Neal and Parsons out together when they were in the nickel trying to stop the pass. When they thought run, they were bringing Jalen, LVE, and whoever out there. Right. I didn't like that too much, but I think they will settle in once they realize this is what works consistently and this is what doesn't. They haven't gotten to that point yet. Last thing in closing, y'all did talk about Diggs. Diggs played a good game. I will say that, but that's not what I mean. Yo, Chris, love you, boy. That's exactly what I'm talking about. In closing, Cox. That's what I was going to bring up. In the situation, I don't have a problem with Curse. I like the way Curse played last night. But in the situations where you think is a need to bring in a big safety to play the run and the pass, use Cox in those situations. Why would we be using Curse over Cox? They got the same length, same build, but Cox can do what Curse can't do, which is he can play like a linebacker, meaning he can actually shed blocks and be a linebacker. But he can also cover better than Curse. So why would Cox not be in on Gronk the entire game? This game is different. In my fantasy, first off, I scored with Gronk, so happy for that. But in my fantasy league, would have been altogether different had Cox been assigned to Gronk the entire night. That should have been the scheme. Erase Gronk. If you take away Tom Brady's safety net, Tom Brady's forced to throw the ball on the extremities, and that gives us more time and more leeway to get there with this defensive line that's looking for an emergence of a pass rush. I think they were holding a hell of a lot, so I'm not mad at Randy Gregory. And if you want to see those holds, look at the spin moves. Randy put on a few spin moves, and when you're spinning and you got a dude bear hugging you while your back is turned, like you're getting held. Like it's point blank period. If you can't finish your spin, somebody holding you, bro. Like usually to stop a spin move, you let them get through it. It's footwork that stops a spin. Footwork and hand readjustment, like a counter moves with your hands. When you just see the footwork is no footwork at all out of the lineman, but the spin and gets stopped in its tracks, it's because someone's holding. You can't stop a spin move by blocking. You can't just grab a guy with your first move and stop a spin. A spin is designed to counter your first move and get off of that. Like you want hands so you can counter, chop his hands down and give him your back so that you can get around him, right? If you see a guy do that and don't go nowhere, that's because he's been held. So I saw a lot of that, but no excuses, man. Tampa Bay played the way they needed to play to win. I expected them to get all the help in the world, being at home, being Super Bowl champs with Tom Brady. They got everything you were going to get, and we still gave them work the entire night. And we were we had the more class on the field, meaning we didn't get bailed into position. We didn't get bailed into a winning position. We were in winning position most of the night against a team that we weren't even supposed to be able to compete with. They had to do that to us, who was we're supposed to be trash, right? So take that off the table. We whooped their ass. We had 4 turnovers. It should have translated into a win. Special teams and special teams, not just the kicker who kicks field goals, but Anger who's doing the kickoffs. Mickens was killing us. The battle of field position was being lost due to the way we were kicking off. I don't know who was kicking off. I don't know if that was Anger or Zerline, but he couldn't get the ball in the end zone at all. They were running it out almost every time and getting good yardage off of it because Mickens is no joke. So those things need to be shored up. But with that said, even with AB playing as bad as he played, even with the lack of help from the refs, this game still should have been a lopsided victory for us, in my opinion, from what I saw out there. But let me run. I got a dinner to get to. I just wanted to touch on those points real quick and give people my thoughts on what I saw last night. I'm already in the middle of breaking it down. I'm not waiting for no coach's film, none of that, man. I'm just breaking down the broadcast. They're just going to have to strike it or take it off because I don't feel like waiting. I got the energy right now. I'm doing that shit, man. So if I see coach's film out here later, you'll get that version. But until then, you're going to get the broadcast, and we're just going to have to chop it up like that, man. Peace out, though. Love y'all. Love what I do. Appreciate y'all jumping on real quick. I know I don't announce them, so every time y'all jump on, it's all love, no matter how many people I get, because, I'm coming like a thief in the night. So let's get it, man. Talk to y'all soon, though. Peace.